Internal democracy, otherwise known as shadow election, is the process of governance within a political party. It is the ability of a political party to govern itself through its internal administration, internal mechanisms, thereby enhancing greater good for itself and the country at large. The opposite of internal democracy is imposition, which creates dissension, disharmony, conflict, disagreement, dispute, intra-party conflicts, and threats to regime stability, good governance, and disorganization in a political party. Executive Director, Organization for Community and Civic Engagement, Nigeria, Abdulrazak Al-Khali joins us in the studio to talk about this. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. Well, talking about internal democracy, I want you to, give us your take on the recent happenings in Yobe, North Senatorial District, where the Senate President came from. There's, this, back and forth. Reports are saying that the party APC has presented, Ahmed Lawan as the nominee for that senatorial district. Meanwhile, we know that Bashir Machina contested the primaries for that constituency and, won that primaries. INEC was there and all of that. What's your take on that?
yes. So before going to the Ahmed Lawan case, I think we need to look at the way our political parties are behaving in terms of their internal democracy. And they failed to really recognize there is need for them to first organize internally before they presented even their candidates to Nigerians for elected positions. And this is a quite challenging issue. Over the years, we don't have this internal democracy, or I can say it's very weak. And that's why at times the political parties have this kind of impunity, presenting candidates that have not followed the due process. That's the case of the Ahmed Lawan. We all know that Ahmed Lawan went to contest for the presidency, for presidential election, primary under APC, and somebody there participated, Machina participated in the primary election for that seat, and he was declared a winner and given certificates. And there is no way the APC or INEC, whoever, can come and accept the names of Ahmed Lawan. The provision of our Electoral Act 2022, Section 31 and Section 33, what it states, INEC shall not accept any political party candidate who does not participate in the primary election. And Ahmed Lawan have not participated in that primary election. And so there is no way that INEC can accept his name as a candidate for that Yobe North Senatorial District. It's just a matter for Machina to make sure that he stands his ground. I follow it in the news that the way he's, I really appreciate the way he's standing his ground on the issue. So he needs to continue with that. It's a matter of time. If they cannot resolve it, I was shocked when I heard that INEC accepted another name because they know the provision. This law is they are the one implementing the law. And they should not allow this kind of things to happen. This is just a new law that we are all happy. We have Electoral Act that is more inclusive, and if followed, it's going to support the country to have credible election.
Okay. I want to bring in the Akwa Ibom issue so that you take them side by side.
Yes.
Now, in Akwa Ibom State also, we have the case of Akpabio's name. The APC in Akwa Ibom State is saying is Godswill Akpabio. That is their candidate. Godswill Akpabio was said, it was said that he did not take part in the first primaries. In fact, in the primaries that was conducted in the state, where DIG Ekudom emerged as the candidate of the APC. Now, A few days after the primaries was conducted, the chairman of the APC in that state called for another primary, saying that the national APC had asked them to conduct another one, citing security infractions during the first one. And they conducted another one, where they said Akpabio emerged as a candidate. In that second one, DIJ Kudom did not take part. Now, the APC in the state has said that their candidate is Akpabio. And DIJ Kudom is still insisting that he's the candidate of the party. And the INEC in the state said they did not take part. They were not witnesses to the second primaries.
Yes, so the first candidate is the winner. Because for each primary election...
But don't also forget that the APC in the state is insisting also that INEC was a witness in that second primary. So
the APC in the state, they can dubiously do some wrong things. Maybe they want to favor a particular candidate. But the law is there, it's very clear. Whoever does not participate in the primary election, he cannot be presented to the INEC. And for example, the INEC said they are not going to participate in the second primary election.
They said they were not there.
They were not there. So I think the guy that win the first election, he has a serious case. So, but the candidates, they need to do a lot for themselves. They can seek for court redress in case where the party is vehemently behind the other candidate who does not participate in the primary election, just like the way the national headquarters of APC is trying to support Ahmed Lawan case. The same thing with Akpabio. The other candidate must take their case to the party to have the discussions to make sure that this is their right. And if the party is not willing to support them, then they can take it to court.
You know, when we talk about imposition of candidates, there are enablers here. Mostly, you find that the governors are very, powerful and influential on political parties at the state level and even at the national level. And also, you have the people that the governors are working with. It appears that there is so much, financial inducements that happened, from top to bottom. So are we ever going to see a time where votes actually count and people have a say in what happens, even within political parties, with the kind of influence that, certain individuals usually will have?
Well, this is quite challenging for Nigerian democracy, money inducement and bribery. And we find it difficult to deal with it because the governors, they have the grab of the power at the center, and also they do influence national structure of their political party. And that if you are not loyal to your state governor, you will find it difficult to survive politically in your political party. And at the same time, the issue of vote buying and financial inducement is everywhere within our political context. Let's take example of the recent Ekiti election. We have commended so many processes, implemented by INEC in terms of the providing the timely materials of the election, the participation, the issue of voter apathy. We have started seeing some improvement in terms of the people's coming out for the election. In terms of organization of the security apparatus, it's also well commended. But when it comes to that issue of financial inducement, it's there.
And some people have said that there's bullying in the parties, whereby some people have said that it appears as if there are some members of the party that are considered more important or bigger than others. Like in the case of Lawan and Akpabio. Lawan is more popular than Machina. Akpabio is more popular than DIJ Kudom. And should that be happening, where shouldn't every member of the party be seen to be equal, and so that the party does not favor one person against the other?
Well, it's true. Some candidates are more popular than others, and as a result of that, they have some political power. For example, Ahmed Lawan is the third person when you rank, the national leadership of the party. Not only the party in the country, he's the Senate president. But that does not guarantee him to have any favor against other candidates. This is an issue of the political parties. For quite long, we don't have good internal democracy that respects the rights of each and every member, that treats members equally. And that's why we have been having this problem over the years. It is high time now we have to accommodate all internal democracy principles in the country, but our political parties are still not really willing or ready to do that.
All right. So, so when we talk about this, when we talk about internal democracy, it's important that, party supremacy is upheld. It's important that political parties are above every other individual that is, in that party. But what we see is that we see individuals who seem to be bigger than political parties, right? So how can we make political parties stronger in a way that they can actually get to decide what happens, without the influence of, one individual or, certain individuals, such that the party actually becomes supreme?
Well, so
Because, why I'm saying this, we've seen cases where in the state, for instance, at the subnational level, you have a state chairman, but there is someone that is considered party leader, in the state and across board, even nationally. For instance, even the president is considered a leader of the APC, where every decision is taken through him. We've seen all the decisions about, who is the anointed one of the president, who is not, all that kind of conversations. And that's even at the subnational level as well. So how can we make political parties stronger such that they can actually be supreme and be above individuals?
I think there we have to learn from the olden democracies that have spent 100+ years conducting democracy. Our political parties in Nigeria, they don't have ideologies. That's why we have seen the level of cross-carpeting from one party to another. So one thing that we have to start doing is to build political parties that have ideologies, that are built based on principles, so that people can subscribe to parties that appeal to their own conscience and their interest. And from there, then also people have to start donating to their political parties, not allow tiny minority interests to contribute financially to the development of their party. Because if we continue to allow that, those people will continue to influence and to dominate the decision making. That's why the governors are so powerful, because they are the ones that are funding our political parties. Even at national, the way we have seen the APC, how they handle the issue of their primary election. The governors decide everything because they have that financial power. They influence everything. They influence who the candidates in their state, and they also influence the
So when you say that, is it possible for political parties to actually sustain themselves from financial contributions from members, and whether or not we actually have Nigerians who go into political parties with the mindset that they are going in to make contributions, to build something, to add to something, not to take. Because it appears that what we have now, more people, affiliate, themselves to political parties basically with the mindset of, let me take, not let me go and give. So how do we, change that? Where does it start from?
Well, there is nothing wrong of getting contribution. That's the way to go, good way to go. People contribute to the development of the party. At times, even private interests who are engaged in some business, they can associate themselves with political parties that are maybe tilted towards their main objectives. They can support them. And the way they can do it, they have to do it with transparency, level of transparency. and not with intention of getting
Rewarded.
Yes. So these are the kind of strategy we have to adopt if at all our political parties have to survive this kind of development that is very transparent and it's not a one-man show or a few people show.
Because, I've seen that one of the reasons why, a lot of times we have acrimony within political parties, people have all sort of entitlement mentality. They feel, oh, I've been in this party for over the years, I have donated these, I've contributed these, and so I should be able to, have a place in the sense of, even if it takes taking away what belongs to someone else, I should be the one because I have contributed financially the most and all of that. And so you hear issues of defections, you hear, these factional issues, you hear where sometimes you find legislators, for instance, and maybe the sitting governor or maybe former governor who is not in good terms because of power tussle, the desire to still be in control even when you're out of office and all of that and all that. Most of the conflicts in political parties is as a result of this. Someone is trying to influence something and someone is resisting and all of that. So what's your take? How do we deal with that?
Well, we have to look at the way the political parties were built, and it's not based on ideology. I keep saying this. People are just cross-carpeting from one party to another in order to contest election. And along the way, some people win and some lost. And those who win, they become so emboldened, and because they have resources, public resources at their disposal, and they can decide who also join them in the winning team, more especially when it comes to political party primary. That's why you can see many legislators at the National Assembly, out of 300 plus, about 170 didn't secure their second term or third term to come into the National Assembly. And this all has to do with the kind of power the governors have over the party.
Okay, you see, my concern here is the impact on the people. When there's internal democracy, no lack of internal democracy in the party, it affects the outcome of the election. Take Zamfara for instance. The people of Zamfara may have said, oh, we want to vote for the APC. Yeah. That was what they did in 2019. Right? They decided we wanted the APC. Now they voted for the APC. But because of internal problems within the APC, the election, at the end of the day, the court gave it to the candidate of the PDP. Yes. Now, if I were a voter in that state, that is not the party I may have wanted to govern me. Yes. But because of internal problems, somebody is imposed or foisted on you because, of all of this. So how do we get to what can be done, because it affects the public at the end of the day?
Yes. The political parties have to know that there's a price to pay. For example, the way Zamfara people felt the price of not having good internal democracy, not respecting going by the rules.
What I'm saying is that at this point, it's no more about the party. It's about the people. Yes, the party may have lost, but the people, they put their trust in a particular party. But because of the problems in that party, they were deprived of that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so they have to assess, should I go for this party again? Because this is not the party that is well organized. I have invested my votes, and later on it was given to another political party. It's PDP. PDP, didn't want the majority votes in that election when Metole came into power. They just got they win at court. And it's as a result of the APC's internal wrangling within the party. They failed to respect the rules of the law. So people at times are always at the receiving ends, because weak internal party democracy, what it does, it presents leaders that are not credible, leaders that are not being elected squarely by people. are leaders that are just being nominated or influenced by the decision of others to come into power. And that's why we are having this problem. If political parties will respect the internal democracy, they will allow the teeming voters of their parties to choose their candidates. And that's the best way to go. When people decided this is our candidate for state assembly or national assembly or senator or governor, let the party allow it to happen. That's the only way we can have credible people, because people can only vote you when they assess you, they assess your credibility, your qualification. But the political parties are always against this kind of processes. And we have laws that clearly stated this is the procedure.
Why does it appear as if the parties don't learn? Because, like, for instance, this cost the APC a governorship seat. So why does it look like they don't learn?
Well, it is the party, Nigerian party. It happens a number of times, even for the ones that were enforced by the national structure or state structure of the parties. A number of them, their mandate has been taken away by the courts. They just failed to learn the lessons. And I believe in this election cycle, many of them who follow that process of taking corner to become the candidate presented for election, they are going to lose it once the other opposing people take their case to court, because the electoral law is very clear.
Now, why do you think that people continue to do this, even when they know that this is against the law? Do you think that maybe they feel like they can have their way in the courts, or maybe they feel that there's a problem with the judiciary that they cannot take advantage of, and all of that? And how can we make sure that laws that are in place are fully implemented? You know, it's beyond just having the laws, but following it through to make sure that it works for the people involved.
Yes, it's quite challenging that our courts are part of the problem, because we have politicians that they don't care how to go about winning election. They can do whatever they like. They feel they can win the election. They prefer, it's better for them to be taken to court than to lose elections. And many of them, they are confident when they go to court, they will find their ways. And we are hoping that our judicial system will take up on its responsibility to make sure that anybody who violates the process cannot have their way out from the mess they have created for themselves. They should respect the due process of the law and declare the rightful candidate the winner of any case. And it happens a number of times. We have candidates that they have not done well in terms of the election, or they violated so many areas in the electoral process. Some in case of vote buying, some they connive with INEC to declare election inconclusive, and when they come to conclude the election, they do whatever they like, and in the end they get their way. But we are hoping that this electoral law will provide a means of improving the processes, if at all we follow them.
All right, well, thank you so much.